What's up, everybody? Tuesday night here on A2DRadio.com. Birds of a Feather. Wow, coming at you live from all of our own Real Talk studios. You got Cromer here. You got Pete Evans, Kevin Godwin, Chuck Moranin up at the top corner, Mr. Ryan Brodo on the ones and twos. And we are brought to you by our doctor at Specialized Physical Therapy, Dr. Paul Vidal. He's the best in the business. Make him yours. You can find him in Burlington, Cherry Hill, Princeton, New Jersey. You can find him on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. Also by Ambuck Services. That's AMBUCK. You need gutter guards, gutter cleaning, tree trimming, deck installation, restoration, any kind of outside work. You want to hit up Michael Ambrose. You want to let him know that the fam at A2D sent you. And guess what, guys? Michael's going to hook you guys up with 20% off. Great deal. He's awesome. They're awesome at what they do. And this time of year, guys, we all need help to get our yards in order, to get our barbecues, our barbecue settings looking fresh. So make sure you hit up Michael. Let him know the fam at A2D sent you. Get your 20% off. That's AMBUCKservices.com. Shout out to our boys over at Philly Drinkers. A2D merch is available, guys. Everything from T-shirts, shorts, tumblers, stickers, show shirts, station shirts, Philadelphia Sports Inspired A2D gear, hats. Everything is there, guys. Masks, whatever you need. Shout out to Alex over there, phillydrinkers.com. Oh, by the way, that beautiful QB Factory shirt for Philadelphia. You can get 25% off on that, guys. You're going to use the promo code A2D. There it is. It's beautiful. I have mine. I almost wore it tonight, but I went old school tonight. But you can get that shirt, 25% off of that shirt. Not your full order, guys. That specific shirt, 25% off if you use the promo code A2D. Our topic of conversation is brought to you by the best tailgating game out there, and it's a great time to pick it up now for all your backyard gatherings. And probably we're going to talk about it. It looks like no football this year in terms of crowd participation. So if you're going to be having people over, you want to have your own tailgate in your backyard, hey, guys, go out there and get playqb54.com. Use the promo code No Notes. It's going to get you 20% off that purchase. It's a fun game. We love it here. We want you guys to be able to enjoy the fun. And that topic of conversation, guys, big news coming this week. Brian Boldinger told us that the Eagles are going to make a big move. They're going to give us big news this week, and that news dropped that Jason Peters is coming back. Not sad about it, guys, and we're going to talk about it. I just think in terms of the way that this seemed to be hyped up, we're a little bit disappointed because we thought that I think in our heads, guys, and we talked about a lot here, this was a formality. I didn't really see him going elsewhere. If there was an opportunity for him to come back, it was just, getting the right numbers in the right place before and after the decimal points and commas. And I think they did that. So we'll talk about that. And the topic of conversation, the question that is out there is Jason Peters. What is it, Chuck? I don't even remember. I'm a mess today. Jason Peters will.
Did we lose him?
Uh-oh.
Jason Peters. So the poll question: Jason Peters will successfully transition to right guard, and that is your poll question. Again, brought to you by QB Play 54. So, guys, while we wait for one Mr. Crow, that's a funny shot, by the way.
Let's see, he's gonna sneeze.
I think Pete and Chrome are frozen.
Oh, well.
Oh, no.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no, there they are. There they are.
Oh, they're back.
There they are.
We're back.
Got him back. Got him back. There he is. So I don't
know if I had too much stuff open or what.
I did. I let the people know what the poll question is, but
okay.
So
it's it's Jason Peters, guys. We're gonna have that discussion. He's going to right guard now. So they say. To me, it's probably a smoke screen so they don't scare off Andre Dillard, but whatever. But that's going to be our topic of conversation. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some of the topics we missed last week. We're going to talk about the Pat Mahomes extension. Maybe we'll even toss in the fact that, we were going to talk last week about preseason games being cut. And actually, I think that we should talk about that considering the news we heard about Philadelphia gatherings this year, which I think will clearly play into that as well, because I think that's gonna be a domino effect around the league, and much more. We're going to talk about Kevin's favorite quarterback. We lost Pete. We're going to talk about Kevin's favorite quarterback, Mr. Stidham, and how he is, how he compares in the league, because apparently he's the GOAT. Kevin was watching game film, Chucks, a whole lot of college because there's no pro there, but he's still an amazing guy.
Yeah, I was about to say, what game film is it? Of the 3 games he came in at the end?
Yeah, it's crazy. But we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about whatever the fam wants to talk about.
There he is.
That's pretty much it, boys. Washington's going to have a new team name, so we're going to discuss that topic as well. So let's kick it off, guys. Jason Peters. I'm going to defer to Chucks to kick this conversation off. Jason Peters comes back on a 1-year deal to play right guard. Your reaction to the news that he's coming back, your reaction to him being, as of now, advertised at the right guard position, and where do you see him? Where do you see him finishing this season? I want to know where everybody sees him, and it could be anywhere. It could be at right guard. It could be at left tackle. It could be on the injured reserve. I want to know where you guys feel like Jason Peters is going to end the 2020 season, if it happens, for the Philadelphia Eagles. Chucks?
This is so difficult for me. I go back and forth between how I feel about not how I feel about it, but like in terms of the poll question, my confidence level in Peters being able to transition to right guard. When it comes down to it, I'll have to say agree, but it's like a very fair weather agree. Like my confidence level on the scale of 1 to 10 maybe is at like a 6. So like it's not, let's all make sure, and we said this before when Brandon Brooks went down and people were clamoring for JP. I had said that like it's not an easy transition, guys. This isn't Madden. Like not only is he moving inside, which requires different technique, different footwork, different assignments, he's also moving to the opposite side. And how many times do we say that, let's keep Lane Johnson on the right side because he's already so great there on the right side, moving him to the left where you have to learn totally different. You have to mirror his own footwork and learn different footwork for it. It wouldn't make sense. Now you're asking Peters to not only move inside, but move to the other side of the center. So it's going to be tough. And keep in mind, it looks like we're not going to have training camp. We're not going to have preseason. So I'm going to say agree, because if there's someone that can do it, it's going to be someone who is very smart with a high football IQ and who is still a solid player in Jason Peters, future Hall of Famer. And I don't care what anyone says. He's still a decent player. He's still a good player. So if anyone can do it, it'll be him. And I'll defer to what the coaches and what Peters say about him, because they know more about Peters than I do. That's for sure. Stoutland and Doug P. If they have confidence he can do it, then I'll defer to them. But we'll see. It's very tough. But I don't necessarily disagree to the fact that, hey, this very well could just be insurance for Dillard, as a smokescreen, because we don't know what Dillard's going to bring. And that's why I like it, because it's not only depth for right guard, but it's depth for left tackle. So that's my take. I like the signing. It's just that it's not going to be as easy as a lot of people make it out to be, to move to right guard.
Prism, I love that. Kevin, you get the milk at the end there, buddy.
You get the glass of milk.
Cheers to you, Prism.
It's funny that he puts that, because this is actually milk. So
Jesus. What time?
So
from what
thank you.
animal? From what animal?
It's regular milk.
From the Stidham animal.
Wait.
It's milk blessed by Stidham.
Wait. Okay, can I ask a question? I know I wasn't supposed to be on until later. Who the hell does a show and drinks milk? Who drinks milk during a show?
Are we surprised
Is there-
by anything at this point,
I mean,
Ryan?
this is
Is there a better? Do you have a better time to drink milk?
Oh
When
my gosh.
yeah, like are you serious? Like you're gonna be sitting back drinking milk.
In the
I'm
words of
almost-
Ron Burgundy, milk was a bad choice.
Yeah.
it's never a bad choice.
I rest my case.
Oh,
I just wish I
That's
had some
terrible.
cookies.
listen, you want to know?
Jesus.
Great time to have milk. I don't like milk. I think it's disgusting, but in the morning is good. Or if you're having like a tasty cake with it, it's like a little treat, maybe a little cookie. But
Yeah,
you don't have
Oreo
anything,
and
Kevin.
something.
You're just sitting there drinking milk, and it's weird.
I'm just
Yes.
relaxing with my cup of milk.
We'll see
Anyway.
how relaxed your stomach's gonna be later.
Oh, I'll be fine. Back to the
Go,
topic
Kev.
that matters here. I agree to the poll. I think he'll transition well over to the opposite side. I don't think you come out and make a statement without having a conversation with him first, saying, "Hey, we obviously have holes on the line with the surrounding the injuries. We're only really bringing you back to help bring Dillard along a little bit more. Off the field coaching, and then to fill the hole that we have. So." If you're not okay with that, well, unfortunately, we got to let the, young talent that we drafted, live up to the hype and, be that next man up. But if you're willing to step in over there, then the position's yours to lose. So I think that was the conversation that had. As far as where I see him at by the end of the season, I say retired due to injury. I think that, I think it's not necessarily
Pete's face is
a.
great. He goes,
I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to say that a guy that his age is going to be injured, because I think that it comes from pushing himself so hard for the love of the game at this point in his career. I think that coming back is very strenuous. Trying to be that greatness level that the all pro lineman that he was and will continue to prove to be for the Eagles. So I think because of that, he pushes it a little bit too far. Injury gets the best of him once again and ends up retired.
Pete, I'll give you the chance to come to follow that, Pete.
Well, for one, real quick, Kev, you almost damn near cut a Bret Hart promo when you said the best there is, best was, almost the best there ever will be live for the Eagles. But I didn't know this was lazy booking on Thursday night. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But with that being said,
Great promo work out of you for Thursday, by the way.
thank you. Tip the cap. I think he'll transition fine. This will be the third time. I mean, he came into the league as a tight end, went to playing offensive tackle. There's a lot on him as far as lateral movement, and Chuck's going to kind of attest to this. It's a different set of footwork being inside with the leverage. So I'm interested to see how they use him to be on the move more. False-start, obviously, with the kick stuff, he doesn't have to do that as much now. Be on the outside to set itself. It's more internal on the hands. It's going to be more in front of him. But when we call those run plays, especially for Miles, where he has to swing outside or he has to get up to the next level, that's where I'm concerned with. And it's not so much with him in the pass blocking as a right guard. I'm more concerned with him in the run blocking and just how it's going to affect the run scheme. If he's coming in as a true day one starter at the right guard position. Hey, Yusuf, I wish Ralphie we can extend the invite to Ralphie. I would love to hear him on the show right now.
I
Get
did.
his thoughts.
I did.
Get his thoughts. You did extend.
Oh,
said
he
no,
ran?
right?
Oh, of course, he ran.
Well,
I
let's
extended
say
it in our little chat group.
He hasn't spoken much today. He's not answering many texts.
No. I wouldn't say he ran. He maybe walked casually away, mightily slowly. But no, with that being said, I think that JP ends up at the end of the year. Hopefully he can stay healthy. It really depends on where the team is at. I mean, we may not even have a football season. That's just not take that into consideration. Let's not just throw that out there.
Yep.
But
You're right.
I don't think he'll be retired. Okay, Kevin, you sour push you.
Of course, he didn't say that.
Do I think he's in a starting lineup? Do I think he may have some injuries? Maybe. Do I think that there's a way you can spell him now, though? and it makes the offensive line more versatile with this addition. I mean, I think the deal was 3 years and $6 million with incentives as escalators. So that's not bad. You know, could that money is spent elsewhere? The thing I'm most upset about is Baldinger hyping up a move where I'm thinking like, okay, we may get a Clowney, we may get an Ngakoue or something like that. And it's okay, well, this guy's coming back who's now 38, the same age as me, and still thinks that he can play. Well, I mean, obviously he's in way better shape than I am and way more athletically gifted than I am, ever was, because he is a Hall of Famer. But to still have a job, to be here, to be on this team, I think he'll give it his all. Now, will his Achilles hold up? That's a different story. I mean, Brandon Brooks is 8 years younger, and this is already the second time he's tore his Achilles playing the right guard position.
Yeah.
That just goes to show you how much more movement it is than the outside tackle position. With the outside tackle, you kick step, you set, and you pretty much just go left to right. There's no front back movement, unless it's a very well designed play where you just automatically kick out to where playing right guard, he may once the play is formed, he may have to get there, shed the block, get upfield, and asking a 38-year-old guy to do that, I don't care what position. You have to show me that. I mean, not saying that. I'm not negative, Greg. Stop it.
Greg
But
called somebody
being
else
honest.
negative.
Yeah, I know. What a world we live in when Greg's
honest.
throwing out negative.
Yeah, I mean, I'm being honest. I mean, Chuckson probably can expound a little bit more with the more in-depth detail, but it's a different animal playing the guard position, especially what this team and this run scheme ask the right guard specifically to do. That's why I have to see that. That's my only thing. Not saying he can't do it, but I just have to see it.
Yeah, I mean, you guys kind of touched on most points. You know, I will agree to the poll question. I think that he will be able to make that transition. I think it's going to take some work. It is very tough at his age. The footwork is different. You're doing things basically flipped around at this point. I think it's going to benefit him. There's going to be a lot of size on that right side of the line between him and Lane. And I think that's going to help him to have Lane over there a little bit as well. But, you know, I think it's good because it doesn't handcuff him to have to be in that position. If it doesn't work out, he's depth for Andre Dillard, who's another major question mark. And I mean, listen, guys, he's a guard today. And I'm not putting negativity out in the world, but I don't really believe in that stuff. For all we know, something can happen to Dillard in training camp, and guess what? That's by hook or by crook. Who's your first guy you're going to be sliding into that spot? It's going to be Jason Peters. So,
yeah.
You know, I think it's a way to bring him back, to give him a chance to prolong his career a little bit. We'll see how it works out in terms of, like you guys were talking about with the footwork. But I feel confident that a guy who's been around the league as long as him, who has played with the players that he has played with, has picked up a lot on probably the knowledge of every position on that line with the guys he's played with over the years, to that I feel as confident as I could of any guy to be able to make the move with Jason Peters as I would anyone. So, I mean, to me, we'll see. And I don't think it costs a lot. If it doesn't work out to me, you know, we've seen Jason Peters get some pretty big contracts in this city. To me, I feel like it's a low-cost, potentially high-reward opportunity. And if it does work out, again, guys, think about the size you're going to have on that right side of the line. I mean, that is going to be tough for that right side to be able to break through. So I'm cool with it. I agree. I think he finishes the season healthy. But if I'm going to be realistic, I think he finishes the season in the left tackle position, though, out of necessity, because I have lost faith in Andre Dillard. Andre Dillard has to earn it back for me at this point. You know, last year I'll be the first to admit that I felt like they should have maybe moved on, but I'm really concerned with a lot of the stuff that we heard about after the season with Dillard. I don't think they did him any favors. I've said that 100 times with the way they handled Peters coming back last year after Dillard did have a nice stretch of games, and I think they kind of beat his confidence a little bit with that. But again, you're an NFL player, man. Like, you got to fucking pick it up and get it right between here and get yourself back in. Whatever your situation is, really concerned with that. So my gut tells me Jason Peters is a healthy left tackle by the end of the year.
Okay.
Yeah, I think worst case scenario, you bring a guy like Peters in, trains up the guys that you had just drafted to play on the right side, and then you can slide them over. What better to have an all-pro offensive lineman train up these guys and learn the position together in a sense, and go through the mistakes. Who's going to recognize it first, a rookie or Jason Peters? So, I think regardless, it's gonna it was a good signing whether he plays either side of the center.
I agree, Kevin. I mean, is it possible, guys, that they're putting this guard thing out there now and masking the true intentions of, we'll put him at guard for now, but in reality, it's more of, we're going to have this guy on the roster in some way, shape, or form in case Andre Dillard can't get it done. It's kind of a way of, let's save face and let's put the message out there that we're supporting Andre Dillard. Kind of the opposite of what they felt like they did last year, which is good. But maybe the true intention is we don't have the confidence in him, but we're not going to put it out there. We want to make sure that Jason Peters is on this roster if we need to, break glass in case of emergency. Is that crazy to think that way? That it's a smoke screen for the true intentions?
No, I don't think at all. Like I said at the end of my comment, like, I think it's very possible, and that's why I like the move, because not only are you giving depth that you need at right guard, because look at the before the signing, the first people off the bench would have been Jack Driscoll and maybe
Pryor.
Prince, or Pryor was starting. I mean, before, so not like the depth was an issue. But now with Peters, if he's really willing to move inside, then you'll not only have depth at right guard, if Pryor doesn't work out, but if Dillard doesn't work out, which we really don't know much of, then he's he's the guy. And with Dillard, it's really tough. I honestly don't think, like, first of all, Yusuf asked a question earlier about, if Dillard starts to struggle, do we see him and Peters switching spots? Dillard is not a guard. All right, you got to be stout. Like, it's a different type of body build, and you got to be more stout as a guard. Dillard isn't that. He doesn't have the anchor or functional strength to play on the inside. So in no way can Dillard play guard. So if he's not successful at tackle on either side, then he's not moving inside. So that's one. And then two, with Dillard, I mean, we talked about it on the show, like when they were planning to bring Peters back after Dillard's stretch of starts. Everyone was like, oh, you can't start Peters again. But I was like one of the rare ones. I was like, no, you have to. Like, Dillard was struggling. Dillard wasn't playing as well as people made it out to be.
Right.
But at the same time, even though he was overall, I'd say he was solid, he was okay, I had always maintained that he's still only a rookie. And he's not – my expectations for him were never as a first-round pick, immediate starter. I did see him as someone who was more of a second-round value type guy who has a potential to be really, really good, but he would need a little bit of time to develop, just a little bit. He would need a year or two. That's why I had graded him as a second-rounder. But, so now when it comes to Dillard moving forward, what makes it really tough is that there hasn't been mini camps. There's not going to be a training camp. And it looks like preseason is going to be out the door. That's what makes this very, very difficult when it comes to putting stock into Dillard at left tackle. If we had all of that going on and all the practices, the coaches and us would have a better idea of what we can expect from Dillard, but we don't. And that's why having insurance in Peters is important, even though like I'm not completely giving up on Dillard. Like you kind of this whole COVID situation has really put teams in a tough spot, and that's why you got to go and get JP. And I think it's definitely to your question, Chrome. I really do think it definitely could be a smokescreen and being like, hey, this is also just in case if Dillard doesn't pan out, we have to have JP.
So let me ask you guys a couple questions. For one, do you think this is two-parter? This is all for all three of you, and even Ryan if he wants to chime into it. And obviously the fam on the chat from all social platforms, Periscope, YouTube, Facebook. Does this change the game plan now to where, as we talked about, my concern is more the run blocking and the pass blocking. I think pass blocking on that right side, when you put Jason Peter and Lane Johnson together, that may be the best 1-2 combo of guard tackle in the league, just hands down.
So if it works out,
change,
absolutely.
yeah. Does this change? Does this make them more of an offensive, on the offensive side, more of a pass happy? That's question one, part one, I should say. And part two, do you think we are better suited now? Would we have been better suited to bring Peters to have prior head start, and then say if we had Peters playing left tackle, would that have been better? Or what we have now with Peters playing right guard, having prior being more, and not really the offensive line is being more versatile, and then having Dillard slide into the left tackle position? Like, which one of those scenarios would you be more comfortable with going into the season?
I personally would have rather had Peters at left tackle and Pryor start at right. Because I think, based on just a little bit that we've seen, I feel that Pryor is a better player at right guard than Dillard is at left tackle right now. Dillard, to me, definitely has the higher ceiling. I think with the right development, and if he plays out to his potential, Dillard can be very, very good. A really, really good left tackle. But at this point, based on what we've seen based off last year,
Right.
I have more confidence slightly in Pryor than I do Dillard. So I rather would have seen Peters at left tackle and then Pryor at right. And to your question about, in terms of pass protection versus run blocking, it's very tough for me because with Peters, like he is, even though he doesn't have the range at the second and third levels that he used to, he still is very knowledgeable and knows the footwork of how to pull, how to combo block and get to the second level, how to work off of those combo blocks with timing, and then move up and get a linebacker. The foot that's not always about like speed. It's about like making the right footwork and engaging at the right time. So it's very difficult for me to say that the run blocking would take a hit because I do think Peters is smart enough to execute those combo blocks. In pass protection, the thing that I don't know, and I'd love to hear guys like Trey Thomas or other Brandon Thorne is another very good media scout. I would like to see, because with Peters, a lot of the times where he was giving up pressures and there were issues on his side, it's communication with him and Sayamalu, where there's not, because with pass protection a lot of the times, especially when they do stunts, that you have to communicate and you have to pass off those blocks very well to the guard, and sometimes the spacing between them two or the communication between them two wasn't on. So I have to see how Lane and Peters would work together. Logically, you would think they would work better, but I'd have to see it. So
Hey, hey guys.
for me to say.
I don't know if this is like breaking news, but
Uh-oh.
this is news. The NFL and this is from ESPN. Jeremy Fowler. NFLPA seeks opt-out clauses for at-risk players, conditional stipends, sources say. I'll just read through some of the clauses that they're pursuing, okay?
Yeah.
So they had negotiations between the NFL and the NFLPA the last 2 days. No plans to discuss more tomorrow as of now. But among the requests in the proposal to the league for the players, one, an opt-out clause for at-risk players to receive salary but not bonuses if one decides not to play. An opt-out clause for players with at-risk families to earn an accrued season and benefits if they decide not to play, an opt-out clause for players who leave the team after reporting. That's terms uncertain right now. And then a $250,000 stipend guaranteed to all players if they show up to camp, and then everything is shut down due to COVID-19 concerns. The amount increases to $500,000 if the season starts, only to be shut down. So it says here, the definition of, this is quote, the definition of at risk is part of the discussion. Procedure for applying for medical opt-outs are not yet finalized. It says the league's June 7th memo listed the following as consideration for high-risk individuals: African American, Hispanic, or Pacific Islander, BMI better than 28, sleep apnea, hypertension, altered immunity, diabetes, mellitus, and cardiac disease.
Wow.
What do you guys? So I'm going to move on from Jason Peters if you guys don't mind. I think we talked a lot about that.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot. This ties in to Philadelphia, the city of Philadelphia today announcing that there will be no large gatherings, no sporting venue gatherings through at least February of 2021. This also goes along with the conversation we did not get to last week, which was the possibility of cutting preseason, whether it's 2 or all 4 preseason games. And now we have this information. So there's a lot going on. And what's crazy, guys, is, we've heard so much from the NBA, the NHL, MLB, and the NFL sat silent for a long time. Which, I don't know how you guys felt about that. I know I had multiple conversations with my my buddies in terms of that. And to me, that was almost concerning. I think for them, maybe it was a sign of confidence. We're not even going to address it right now because we're not concerned that we're going to have a season. But it seems very odd that I don't think you make an about-face turn this quickly, that in a very short period of time, guys, there's a lot of red flags to me coming out from the NFL. A lot of panic and what feels like tension in terms of now we're trying to develop the protocol, because I don't know what they did with all this time, guys, but it seems like to me there was no protocol discussed. And now they're scrambling to put stuff together. When they had the head start over everybody else.
Yep.
They had months to prepare before you even had to have your players show up. The other leagues were either in season coming up to their playoff run or in the middle of their preseason.
Yep.
I got to get your guys' feeling on this, because that's huge news right there. And if you look at that list of what's high risk, who the hell in the league wouldn't be on that?
Yeah.
Shit, I have sleep apnea, so I would be on that.
Hypertension, diabetes, cardiac disease, BMI over 28, African American, Hispanic, or Pacific Islander. African American.
Yeah, that's like 70% of the league right there.
Yeah,
if not more.
If not more.
And add in the coaches and the coaching staffs, man.
Yeah.
How is it possible? How is it possible for this league to have a season, guys? I'm sorry, I'm not being Mr. Negative, but I'm gonna be Mr. Negative because
you're being Mr. Realistic.
I just don't see it responsibly being possible.
You also have to take it into consideration both sides of the fence here. If you look at the 3 leagues, and NBA, NHL, and MLB, that are a lot further ahead in their discussions on getting sports back, is because they kind of have to be, right? Because everything that's hinging on their current seasons, it's a trickle down effect through drafts, through positioning, standings, what have you, from here on out. That's just how sports works. But as far as the NFL, I think it's the smart move to sit more quiet, because you want to get it right. You don't want to have to come out like most of these places are saying, well, we'll do this. Wait, no, we're going to change our minds, change this. Wait until because
Well,
just like you said, you don't
Kevin.
have to yet.
Kevin, the
What are they getting right,
NFLPA
Kevin?
and the NFLPA, the players have been saying, what the hell is going on? They don't know anything. They've been left in the dark up until maybe now. They don't know what the plans are. Coaches don't know what the plans are. And if you listen to reports from people with inside sources and what they're saying from coaches and players, coaches don't know what to do. Coaches have no clue what to expect or how to approach things.
Right.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying in terms of
Trust me, I understand.
because of we don't know how it'll the league didn't know how things would be at this point. I get that, but at some point, enough is enough. There's a deadline, not deadline, but there's a point in time where we have to start preparing and start to really communicate and putting protocols in place. And I feel like the disturbing thing is what I've been hearing from those reports, that coaches and players have no idea what's going on. They don't know anything. That's what's troubling. If they had been saying we've had constant communication with the league, we have this and we have this contingency plan, then it'd be like, oh, okay. We just aren't hearing any news about it, but at least they're in communication. But the fact that the players and coaches don't know a lot, that says a lot. That's really bad.
I don't think it says it.
Go ahead, Kevin.
I don't think it says much, as concerned as you guys are making it seem, because you have a situation where you have such a wide spread of teams, across the country, and in areas where you have, California, as of yesterday, just shut down everything again. So now it's hard to take, singular cities that are making rules and regulations up and changing them around what the NFL is going to do. And then you have probably the stingiest league as far as league to Players Association. So whatever they decide, they're going to have to bring in front of the NFLPA regardless. So why would you try to make a plan for cities just to turn around and change it anyway?
Kevin, they weren't being proactive, Kevin. There's a difference between preparing and altering a plan. Everything that's come out over the last 2 weeks has clearly proven that there was nothing put into place. It's easier to be proactive and put a plan in place and then have to tinker with it as the situation develops. They haven't done that. And if they did a piss poor job at doing it, and an even worse job at communicating it to the public. Because I think that that's really important. And you know what, Kevin? To sit there and until the day that they were supposed to charge fans for tickets, to tell fans we're still going to charge you for your season tickets full price, and wait until literally hours before they do that, tells me they didn't put a plan in place. They thought they would be fine.
That's not on the NFL.
It is on the NFL.
On the owners and the teams.
Calls. But the NFL,
no, it doesn't. The owner and the teams do.
The NFL.
The owner is the one that comes out and says.
Who do you think
That's
the NFL. The NFL.
I'm talking about as far as I'm talking about as far as plans being put in place by the league, by the commissioner, saying, yes, you can bring your team, Jeffrey Lurie, you can go practice now and bring your players back in. That's what I mean as far as a plan set in place. You're talking about an owner on the flip side of things,
Kevin,
saying,
we're not
yeah,
talking
I'm not
about
going to
getting
charge
a bunch
people.
of guys together for practice. We're talking about putting safety protocols in place for fans, for coaches, for team staff, and for players to respond, and referees to responsibly put on a season that will entertain people and keep people safe. That's not responsible. You're not telling me anything about them putting a plan in place, Kevin. You're telling me that they made it, they gave them the permission to be able to get a couple guys together to put a practice together. And by the way, how many COVID cases are starting to really pick up in professional sports? They clearly haven't put anything in place. They weren't proactive. They're now being reactionary. They're on their heels and they're panicking and they are scuffling to put a responsible plan together. And Kevin, if you can't see that, I don't know what you're looking at.
Who exactly are you referring to when you say the league? Who do you think what comprises the league?
See, and to me, that's where things get very, very mixed up, because when I say league, I mean as far as the commissioning body, that, the commissioner, and putting plans in place as far as overall determination, right?
No.
Of how things are going to be operated.
The commissioner and who?
The commissioner and whoever advises him. I don't mean owners. I don't mean players. I don't
Do
mean
you know who advises him? Do you know who he works for? He works for the owners, the teams.
Right.
When do you talk about the league?
As far as plans being put in place, as far as plans being put in place on a league operating or not, and safety protocol, I mean the commissioner, not the coaches, because the coaches then determine the outcome of their own team.
I know,
because they have to abide by the city.
about the coaches.
I'm talking the coaches and players do not know what they're doing. The coaches doesn't refer to the league. The league, they're talking about Goodell and the owners of the teams. That is the league. So when you have them not saying anything, not putting protocol in place yet, you're talking about them. They're the ones who decide, who have to ultimately are in charge. So yes, that is they are at fault. And if you want to put some blame on the NFLPA as well, because maybe they haven't been as proactive, sure. I mean, I don't know for sure, but if you want to, I'm not going to argue against it because I haven't heard anything either. But the point is, when players, the coaches say they don't know anything, they haven't received any communication. Who do you think is at fault for that? Like, is it just Roger Goodell? Roger Goodell is the only one going, oh, I'm not going to tell this team this, or I'm not going to tell these players this. That's the owners. Those are the teams.
So let me put it this way: you have a league set in place that you want to have set protocol, right? Then you have owners that some don't own the stadium, some own their stadium, so some of them have practice facilities that they can have teams brought into, right? The owners can't bring teams in because the cities are saying no, you can't, because the states are saying no, you can't hold practices. Then you have players saying, well, we don't want to come because there's nothing set in place. So it's a vicious cycle, and you can't just put blame onto the owner for being pulled in both directions. The onus has to be on the embodiment of both sides, versus whether it's going to be an overall agreement from the NFLPA bringing something to the table versus the commissioner. And if I'm either side, I'm not doing anything until someone else steps foot first, because you don't know what you're going to be able to bring to the table because of the individual cities that you have to play in. That's why you see in the other leagues where they take that out of the equation and they say, well, let's just play in a hub city because we have to get something done. But if I'm Jeffrey Lurie, I don't want that to happen until I know for a fact that I can't have something done in my stadium, which brings me money, which Philly just came out and said that, sorry, you can't. So until that's done, as an owner, I'm not doing anything.
Okay. I think what was trying to be said was, Chrome's original point is the league just sat around and like they didn't have any talks at all, like COVID-19 just came out of fucking nowhere. I think that's the point. And then somehow it got veered off. It got veered off the topic.
Exactly right, Pete. It's that they sat around and didn't have talks while every other organization in professional sports was having conversations, whether it was mid-season or preseason, how we can get this to go. Whether we loved or hated the MLB conversations, they had ongoing conversations. They talked. And the NFL acted like it wasn't existing, or that it wouldn't affect them because it was going to be gone by the time their season started. So why worry about it? That's the problem.
Everything that Chrome just listed, all the diseases, the vulnerabilities, that shit we was hearing when it first came out for regular everyday people. The problem is nobody in this whole situation, from government to all the way to MLB, nobody wanted to prepare for the worst. And that's really, in this situation, that's what they should have done. Even the NFL. You prepare for the worst. You can come back and you can say there's nothing wrong with saying back in March or April at the draft, we're going to have the draft. We don't know when we're going to start the league again. Because if you pull down the reins and you hunker down on everything, you make things so strict, it's always easier to loosen up. Once you loosen up, it's harder to loosen up and then tighten back up, because then you seem like a hypocrite or you seem like the jackasses while we're having this conversation now, because you see ill prepared. I get what you're saying, Kev, as far as the owners and want to have it in the whole cities and football being a little bit different than every other sport and being able to have it in a hub city. And there is a lot of different variances between cities, because once again, you see maybe in the Northeast, while things are taming down here, back in March, you could have looked at probably paying a hub city in San Antonio, Texas. Now you can't pay me to go to Texas. Texas is what the Northeast was back in March. You know what I mean? That's what the Southeast is now when you see in Florida. So it's a lot of different variations. It's a lot. There was no true direction. And it's $1 billion business. How do you guys make billions of dollars to sit on your asses doing nothing, trying to run a football team? And now it's 32 of y'all. We're not talking about government officials after Wazoo. There's 32 fucking people, 32 owners and a commissioner. That's it. 33 people. Y'all should have planned out better than this. You can sit here, you can look at the draft for 2024 and see who's going to come up and be looking at players in high school already, or freshmen, juniors, and freshmen, but you can't fucking sit here and plan about how you're going to get the players that you got to pay right now and keep them healthy on the field.
That's right.
That's the point.
That's right.
The point. So what are you guys talking about this whole fucking time? What have you been talking about?
And on top of it, too, we're talking about like that news, that story that we just went through, right? We're talking about all the high-risk things. This is stuff that could have been discussed months ago. Hammer it out. What's considered high risk? This isn't new information as to what is considered high risk for the fucking Ralphie, for COVID-19. This isn't anything new, and that's the thing. How have we not settled on what's considered a high risk for this insurance that they're looking to put in? These, this guarantee, these stipends and stuff that they're looking to put in. How do they not understand at this point? We are literally, we would be about 3 weeks away from preseason at this point.
Mm-hmm.
How has this not been discussed, Kevin? We're
I think the
3
biggest
weeks away
thing
from preseason, and they still haven't made it.
In 2 weeks.
They still haven't made a decision on how they're going to if they're going to cut preseason down. Why is that not a decision yet?
That's because you have ignorance on both sides of the play here. You have players that are saying, "Well, I'm not going to throw out through the NFLPA something until I want to see what they're going to give me. How much money are they going to pay me and guarantee me to go out and try to get into camp and get on the field?" And then you have owners. And then you have owners on the other fact that are saying, "Well, we're kind of a little bit out. Some states are getting better, so I don't know how much I want to offer these guys just yet if this is going to start to settle down."
Even if it was just precautionary to have those conversations, how do you not learn from Major League Baseball and seeing how that negotiation went on? Well, as soon as that shitstorm started with Major League Baseball, the NFLPA and the league should have been on the phone saying, we cannot have a PR nightmare like that. And I'm not saying the NFL is doing that now yet. But
I think that's part of the reason why they...
The fact that what's today's date, Kevin? Today is... It's
14th.
July 14th.
14th.
And we've seen MLB go through months of conversation about this and get trashed for not being able to have a conversation about it. And now they're 2 days into a conversation about it, and it's July 12th is when they started, Kevin. That's irresponsible. It's naive, and it's irresponsible, and we used the word ignorant last week, guys. It's ignorant to the situation, to not understand the gravity of the situation that we're in, and not have at least precautionary conversations about this. It's like it's a whole thing now. Now we got to panic and scramble and figure out what precautions we're going to put in so our players were willing to get on the field and that we could put them on the field in a safe environment. It blows my mind. And honestly, guys, there's no way that the NFL is going to be able to have a season anyway. And I mean, we'll continue to talk about it. I love it, but I will be the guy, and I hope that they do. I'm not saying I don't want them to, but I am going to be the guy who's going to say here. And honestly, it's the one league that I want to happen, guys, because of all the sports, and I love all of my sports. I feel like the one I've gotten used to not having hockey and baseball and the NBA. Sundays without football in the fall is going to be rough if that happens.
It's going to suck.
That's going to be the one sport that I'm going to miss. But I don't find – I'm sorry, Kevin, but I don't see – and you're right. It's naiveness on both ends. But I don't see a way, particularly because they waited so long to start to evaluate the situation, that they can responsibly get on the field. Like you said, they could have had something in place. And you know what, Kevin? It's a lot easier to say, okay, where I think Pete put out San Antonio. Somebody put San Antonio out on the table, right?
That was me.
It's easier to say. It's easier to say that's a plan. And then when you see those numbers spike, okay, now we can reevaluate. Instead of putting a whole plan together, you're tweaking different parts of it and trying to figure out a few things as opposed to figure out the whole thing. And you're talking about how many players in this league that you have the responsibility of, and their families, and your coaches, and your refs, and your team staff. It's just mind-blowing to me and so irresponsible to wait this long.
Yo, it's like when you're a kid and you have a research paper due. The very first thing you do is you create a rough draft. You create an outline. This shit here, that press, whatever Jeremy Fowler said, if that was the actual press release from the NFL, they should be fucking ashamed of themselves. That is the worst outline to the biggest research paper I've ever seen, because that is shit that was coming out. African Americans, diabetes. That is shit I was hearing just on looking at Wawa's and shit. Not even $1 billion businesses. Like, you knew your play. Do you know who's in your league? Do you know what players play in your league?
So that was put out. Not to cut you off, but that was put out by the NFLPA, by the players.
Because it's their asses. I'm glad you said that, Kev. Because guess what? If I'm a player in the league right now, there is no way I can see for any of these sports where they can create a 100% safe environment. You can't.
They can't. It's not possible.
And
I agree with you.
I think the overall point is that, like, even though this just came out, like I think this past weekend I heard Kaplan or Mosher say it. The NFLPA put out. Do you guys remember weeks ago they had that the league had this ridiculous proposal to put 30% of player salaries in escrow? Well, that was like the league's first pitch to the NFLPA. NFLPA came back with another pitch this past weekend, and the league vetoed it. They said no. It included different things about the salary cap, having a hard salary cap for future years and stuff like that to make up for the loss of revenue. But that was vetoed. So this report that came out, it's just a matter of it's the back and forth that's going on right now. I think the original point that Chrome was making is why are these happening so late? That's it. This should have been the report that came out last month or 2 months ago. That okay, now the NFLPA wants this for insurance. Not 2 weeks before training camp. That's
how many months?
See, I don't disagree with it.
Kevin, how many months ago, and I'm sure you were a part of this too, when this started, right, and we started doing shows as we do them here, right, and we started talking about sports and the situation we were in, how many times did we say on this show, on other shows on A2D radio, the NFL is in the best situation because they don't have to worry about getting on the field now. They can see as this stuff is developing and make they have time to get it together and not rush anything.
Right.
And clearly they didn't get the note. Clearly they didn't pick up on the obvious, because it's very obvious that they waited too long and they're reactionary instead of being proactive. And it's almost impossible to put together any plan. And you guys could talk about this. You all work. You talked about homework, Pete. Are we going to put our best quality of work out there when we're throwing shit together last minute? I'll tell you what, 19 out of 20 times, no, absolutely not. You might get that one time where you just nail it, but it ain't going to be when COVID's out there, guys.
Yeah.
It might be if you throw your draft together last minute, but it ain't happening when COVID's out there.
Yeah.
And it's evolving every friggin' day. And that's the problem.
And this is the thing. The NFL back in April, we had one of the biggest productions that we ever had for the draft. Draft picks happened, hearts were broken, things were said, QB Factory was born. But with that being said, you can't. The one thing that what people in power refuse to do, major businesses, even not to get political, but even in political offices, from various different levels, no one wants to be humble. No one wants to admit defeat. You can't take shit for granted with this disease, with COVID. And that's the thing. The NFL and the NFLPA probably to some part took it for granted that by come September, everything will be fine.
Yep.
The one variable that you this is gonna sound crazy. The one variable that you can't account for is how fucking stupid people are.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what you can't. You can have all the plans. You can have every scenario, every algorithm, every fucking outcome, but you can't. You can't account for the human will just to go out there and say, "Hey, you know what, Johnny? What we gonna do today? We gonna go out there and do some crazy shit, boy. We're gonna go to the beach or do some dumb shit." You feel what I'm saying? Like, let's go to like there was a 30-year-old that died in LA, I believe, and he said they really thought that it was all a prank. This is still that mindset out there, and these are guys that have 9 to 5 everyday lives. You know what I mean? It's everyday lives. So
that was a real thing, Pete. You brought up Chuck's COVID parties.
Yeah.
Let's get as many people as we can at a party, and let's see how many people get infected. That was a real thing I read about.
How dumb is that?
I wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing some dumb shit like a COVID challenge where people let other people like either sneeze or lick their hand and touch people's faces.
Pete, Pete, please don't even put that stupid ass idea out there. Although I'm sure it's already been thought of.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, but with that, like, I'm honestly at the point, and I don't need sport. I don't want sports to come back right now. It's so much other bigger shit in my life that if I need somebody throwing a football to distract me from what's going on when I'm spending time at home with my family and putting my, like, you know what I mean? That's a problem. It's an issue because you can't get it back in the way that you truly fell in love with it. You see what I'm saying? That's not being talked about. We talked about no fans for the players, no fans to watch it at home, and it's just an empty stadium. Like, how can you truly? Me and you do it with wrestling every week. We've been doing it with wrestling. It's different.
I love I love wrestling. Hell, I host a show on this friggin' platform on Thursday nights, and I gotta tell you, it's really rough. It was cool at first just to have something, and I will always applaud the effort to entertain. And there's moments where it's still very good, but it is difficult to sit and watch hours of it. I mean, I said it, Pete. I feel like the NBA is just going to be like a glorified rec league game. I feel like the NHL is going to be like sitting at the Flyers skate zone, you know, with a camera. I mean, I miss sports. I will disagree with you in terms of, I don't want to say there's something wrong with you if you are really pining for it. Maybe it's not the way you totally meant it.
Yeah.
I understand it is such a fabric in all of our cultures and our lives, and it is escape for a lot of us. But what I will agree with you on is, I think a lot of us have chosen to find other things that we've probably learned a lot about ourselves in terms of there's a lot of people learning they can cook, a lot of people learning they can't. There's a lot of people learning that they can. A lot of people learning that they can do different crafts and different shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people are finding new ways to get about their day and find new releases. And, you know, it's not like if sports, I mean, I want it back, but if it's not there this year, like, I want it to be safely back. And I don't even need the fans, be honest. Like, I'll watch it. What I need is I don't just think about myself. I need to feel like the people who are out there entertaining me are in a safe situation, because I don't need you to entertain me that bad that you're going to put yourself and your family at risk. It's just not how I'm made. I don't need that. It's not me going out on the field. I don't care how much they get paid. You know, you don't get that money. You know, it's a whole different thing, the world. You know, look at Karl Anthony Towns' mom. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be you. You can give it to somebody else. And that's my deal, Pete and Kevin and Chuck's, is I want it to come back to where it's responsible for the people participating to be in and you're right. I don't know that it's ever going to be completely safe for a very long time. Not until a vaccine, at least, is out there and has been proven to be effective. But I just want them to be safe, and I want them to be well prepared for it. And that is why I'm so angry with the NFL and everything that's coming out over the last 2 weeks, because it's very clear. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out that they were not prepared, and that clearly they didn't think they were going to have to deal with this when it broke in March. But guess what? Experts, Fauci and everybody else said back then, this ain't going away anytime soon. So it's just very foolish.
Not to cut you off real quick.
Oh, I'm good.
Jake just sent me this now. We don't know. I don't know how legit it is. It's just sent to me by Jake from A2D. Weekly Roundup. Check him out on Saturdays, him and Steve. But New York Times just put out a headline and report 16 minutes ago. The first COVID-19 vaccine tested in the U.S. shows promising immune response ahead of large trial. And roughly, just skimming through this, it says they tested on 45 adults, found encouraging immune system boost response. Phase 1 test paves the way for. I don't know if you saw it, but he did.
I've heard about it already. Yeah. There's a couple. There's I don't think it's the only one. I think there's like one or two, maybe even three really promising ones that might hit the advanced stage of testing coming up.
Yeah.
But even so, Chucks, though, if you look at it and you read about it and you hear these people who are the experts and professionals on vaccines, even so, after the testing, and then you have to prove that that it's going to be a sustained successful thing.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, guys, we're probably looking at 2021 for professional sports to be able to confidently come back and not have to be as micromanaged. Now, I think it's always going to have to be at this point, but I think that, there's still going to be we're a long ways away, but that's very encouraging.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's very encouraging.
Yeah. So to piggyback of what you and Pete said, you guys know how diehard of a football fan I am. It's almost what I live and breathe. If I'm on my free time, I'm watching football. So I want it bad so bad, but looking at not just football, but just our everyday lives as we know it. One of the things that Mary and I love to do is we love to go out to restaurants and eat different places. We're big foodies. That's not happening.
Yep.
That's not happening. Going out and going out with friends and eating out every Friday night, Saturday night, hanging out, it's not happening. Sports is not happening. Football's not happening. I want it back, but if it takes a year without sports for us to finally get it back at a good place, like you said, I will sacrifice a season without sports. I would much rather have that. Let everyone just take that season off. Let everyone be safe. And I think Tom has been preaching this for, for months. Back when it started, and he said, "Look, we all want things to get back to normal, but we're going to have to take a step back before we take 2 steps forward." And it's a shame that this country and all the other countries in the world are laughing at us, but it's rightfully so. But man, like if we all just take a step back and do what we're supposed to be doing and be smart as a country, that finish line is right there. It could be right there, like what it is with other countries. But we're not doing that. No, there are too many idiots, too many selfish people that are ignorant to the bigger picture and just see like, oh, my family is fine. I wear a mask. My family is fine. They're okay. Our antibodies are good. So we'll be fine. No one should be like, no, it doesn't work like that. In the big picture, just because one group of people or one family isn't affected, that doesn't mean there's none that are affected. You know how many people, how many friends of mine have lost their parents during this thing? And that's what I get.
I got a buddy that lost his wife, man.
It's so sad. And whenever someone says, "Oh, people shouldn't live in fear," blah 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 blah, it gets me so heated because of everything I know, all the people that I know have been lost, and I know I'm not the only one that has experienced something like that. Even with me, like thank God, I haven't had any like immediate family, lost to this, but that doesn't mean I'm blind to how everyone's affected. So I want all that to be gone, and that takes priority. My unborn child, my pregnant wife, my family, my nephew who I haven't seen in months, like all of that takes priority over sports. So if we can get back to normal life, not just sports wise, but in terms of I want to be able to go out to a restaurant, I want to be able to hit you guys up, be like, yo, you guys want to hang out, you guys want to grab a bite to eat, let's go do something. We can't do that. I can't do that. So I want to be able to have normal life back, real normal life. But until we take a step back and sacrifice something, we're not going to get there. And that's what's a big shame is people don't want to be able to sacrifice something to be able to get to that finish line.
Well, it's not, and you know what, Chuck, it's not even that. It's not even, there are things, and it's okay. Even the experts have said, we're not saying send everybody back indoors. What we're saying is don't continue to open things up as numbers are getting worse. Keep things at a halt, right? So, it's not even a question like, I know you mentioned the restaurant thing, right? Like, or going to a bar that responsibly is enforcing what has been put into place. A lot of them don't, but there are ones that do. It's not that you can't do any of these things. We can't do them to the full max that we used to do things. We have to, if you have to wear a mask when you're not sitting at your table, wear the freaking mask. And that's the issue that we're seeing now is people don't want to go. I want to go to a restaurant, and when I go to restaurants, I don't wear masks, so I'm not putting it on. How many of those videos do you see of people getting in fights out in public now because people refuse to put the mask on to walk to a bathroom? Like, it's not a big deal. And that's the thing is, like, they're not telling us. These experts weren't saying, hey, let's shut it all down because we got it wrong. Some states didn't do things right. Florida, look at you. But Texas is another one. Maybe California, just throw a few out there. Arizona, bitches. Anyway, just saying there's a few, but New Jersey has done a lot of things the right way in terms of their opening process. They halted things when things started getting, They didn't say, hey, we're going to go back to red. They said, no, we're going to stay in yellow for a little bit. Let's ride it out before we go to green. And that's the issue is that there are people who understand we are in phases and there are things that we can do to get us past that finish line and to keep not just ourselves. I don't worry about myself as much. I always worry about the people around me, whether I know you or I don't know you. A lot of people can't do that. And that's the issue is let me do the couple of things. Hey, listen, man, they gave me the ability to go to a restaurant and I get to sit at a table that's 6 feet apart from everybody else. and all you ask is that I got to put the mask on when I get up from the table if I got to pee or I'm going to go say hi to someone at another table and they want to say hi to me, no problem. I'll leave the goddamn mask on. I don't care. Whatever. I'll be fine. I've been out in 90-degree weather at this point with the mask. It's not that bad. You're a whiner. Unless you're someone who works every day in it and has to wear the mask, and even talk to those people, and those people will tell you, the people who cry about having to put a mask on to walk to a friggin' bathroom at an outside bar are whiners. Sorry, just putting it out there. But, like, that's the thing, man. I ain't worried about me. I'm worried about other people around me. And if I got to go another month and a half where I got to do that so we can get to that stage where, you know, maybe in February of 2021, guess what? I could take my damn mask off. Or not, maybe even earlier. If we were doing things right, we could have did this stuff earlier, by the way.
Yeah.
This is ourselves to blame. Then that's fine. I'll do what I got to do to get there.
Yeah.
They're not shutting us down and locking us back up, but we continue on the path that we are. That's what they're going to do. I feel like we talk about this every week. We got way off topic.
Yeah.
But it is very, very important. But why is it so important? Because think about what we're asking these NFL players to do now. Go out there and do this. And there wasn't a responsible plan put in place.
Yep.
Entertain us.
You get paid.
But there's no responsible plan to keep them safe, their families safe, the coaches, the referees, the team representatives, and anybody else who has their fingertips on an NFL game on Sunday that to pull it off. The camera and TV crews that have to be there, the production staffs. There's so many factors. And it's crazy because every time I have the conversation, how many times we had this NFL conversation privately? You know what's crazy? When I think, man, like if we could do this, and that's why you guys said you'll never get to the point where it'll be perfect. Because I always somehow manage to come up with another factor. I'm never not able to find another variable that can affect it. The only way it can happen is if they truly turn this into the friggin' Truman Show with Jim Carrey and legitimately put people in a bubble. In a bubble. It's the only possible way to, like, actually manage this fully. And we know that's not going to happen. So that's it. I mean, I hear what you're saying, Kev. We hear what you're saying. I just think we're looking at a grander scale of why did they wait until July to start having deep conversations about this when it started in March.
Right.
Yeah. So
that's
my biggest thing.
I'll say it though, when they made it appear, it is very obvious that they did not. Even if they had a conversation, it was very impasse because they are clearly, from the moment anything came out, it became very clear that they are on their heels. It was 2 games. And then how many days later? Oh, now we're taking 4 preseason games away. Oh, now we're talking about this. I like the mask that I like the idea that they're changing the equipment on the helmets for a face mask and a mouth guard, which is great. But it's very clear. Kevin, go ahead. I'm sorry, buddy.
Yeah, I just think that, overall, I think that, I agree that they could have done a better job as far as making it more known to what their plan was. Even if a half a plan is what they had in place, just making that known. I know they did come out a while ago as far as, light outline of an idea that what they were going to move forward with, as far as the league saying capacity planning is going to be up to the owners and the cities. So as of right now, the only city that's come out and said, no, you cannot play or you cannot have fans is Philadelphia, as far as I'm aware of. Mm-hmm. Everyone else, it's up to the owners to say, hey, we're going to allow 10% capacity, 20% capacity. They have put that in place, and then they have made it league-wide to, regardless of what you decide, the first 8 rows blocking from the field level up have to be blocked off. You cannot sell those seats. And then individually, the owners have come out and said, hey, season ticket holders, we will push your dues due.
Buddy. Yeah, Dion.
We will push your dues that you had paid this year onto next year, and you'll keep your seats. That stuff has all been out there, and, again, all loose, and I get that, but I think that it's just because of the scale of the of the league, and because they can wait a bit, they have been. Whether that's right or wrong, I'm not saying that, I'm not saying I agree with them being relaxed, but I think that, you were never ever going to get a plan rushed in place like the other three leagues because they just don't have to.
And I want to say this too, Kevin, in just a response to that. If the NFL, and I'm not saying this is the case, but if the NFL was sitting back worrying about people's reaction if they have to change a plan or this and that, then shame on them. Yes. Because everybody in every industry has had to adapt on the fly and has put things out there and said, this is the plan as of now. Now, if they are so arrogant that they have to be the smartest guys in the room, that they only want to put one plan out there and prove that it's going to work, and worry about having to make changes to it because they're not going to be the smartest guys in the room, which is how that seems to me by what you put out there. And I'm not saying you're saying that. It's how I perceive that train of thought. Shame on them. Shame on them for their irresponsibility. And for
I think
arrogance.
it's them trying to. I think it's them not so much trying to be the smartest guys in the room. I think that's always going to take precedent a little bit into it. But I think it's using the other leagues as guinea pigs, really, because all of the other leagues are supposed to come back as of practicing now and opening up games August 1st, I believe it is. And if your camps really don't open until then, or modified camps don't have to open until then with preseason, then as an owner, are you going to commit or try to put in a place, a plan in place until then, until you see, hey, let's see what happens with the other three? Should they? Yeah, probably. But, do they necessarily have to? I don't know. Because what happens if, a week into the other sports, something bad goes happen, and then we get a plan. Hey, no football. That's it. We're not going to put anything in place. It's just done. Or everything could go off great, and then they just mirror it, and you come out with a real quick plan and just say, hey, we're going to mirror what these other three leagues are doing. Social distancing the teams as far as, you just go right to the facility dressed in pads, ready to go, you're limited time apart, and what the other leagues are doing. I think that's more the than being ignorant to the idea that we've already known about the issues that are out there. Why not come up with something sooner?
So my only caveat to that is, and then we can move it to maybe the Pat Mahomes contract extension or something else, because we could beat this to the Stidham. So
well, I figure we'll give Kevin a break. We can talk about Pat Mahomes for a minute because Kevin took a beating by me again for a little while ago. Sorry, Kevin.
So,
I didn't mean
bro.
Sensitive subject.
So I'm not going to pile on, but I will. But what you just said about the owners, should it be then? That's the second time you said that tonight. And I think the point fact that we're coming from is it would have been easier for the NFL just to set a fucking mandate across the board. Just set across the board. This is what you can have. This is what you can't have. And then from there, at least that gives owners, like you said yourself, and coaches some type of framework that they can work with. When you don't have a framework that you could, when you try to take, if your boss just comes and says, "Hey, here goes all these files, figure out a way to put them in," or they say, "Okay, these go here, you figure out how to organize them," but that's more information and allows you to better do your job. So right now, when you have all these questions, you don't have any type of outline, no matter how you can go, where you can't go. Teams getting mad because I think it was the Saints that were meeting in a rundown restaurant or something like that in New Orleans. So because it's all trying to get that competitive edge and trying to get that hell, Belichick, we already know the Patriots way, they cheat. So who says they may have been meeting down in a secret bunker off of Cape Cod or some shit? You never know. But with that being said, that's where you need nobody. I'm gonna say this, and this is probably gonna make some people mad. Nobody in this country in the position of power has the fucking set just to make a rule.
Yo, Pete, with what you're saying, right? We're talking about, Kevin hit the point on the head, right? The league is allowing the teams, the organizations, to dictate
Why?
the capacity of a stadium. If we're learning from the other leagues, it's a uniformed expectation. So now again, I don't think they have any clue what they're doing. Clearly, to me, they're not paying attention to what's going on. And again, in a situation like this, right, if we are going to put on a season, I would want to make it as fair as possible. So to me, it's either everybody has 25% capacity or 15% capacity, or nobody has any capacity in there.
Right.
Let's keep it even on around the board for everybody. And the fact that we're going to, that's allowing risk. Because if you are in a city and your owner is greedy as shit, and they are going to be allowed to, sorry, Houston, going to knock you because you're a city that's had some pretty high numbers. If Houston's owner says, hey, we're going to have 25% capacity, guess what? We're risking my team. We're risking the teams that are unfortunately on their fucking schedule. And now we're putting an uneven playing field, an uneven safety environment for everybody else. Not every team has to go to Houston and play. But if you're a team that does, you might have a higher risk. Your organization might have said, we don't want anybody in the stadium, nobody that has to be here, because that's the responsible thing to do. But because that greedy fuck wants to have 25% capacity, he's going to risk his players, he's going to risk the fans who could spread that shit to people, and he's going to risk a team that has no choice in the matter. So guess what? If I'm a team that has to play Houston this year, and I'm just using Houston as an example, guys. I don't know what they're going to do. But if I'm a team, if Houston's going to have 25% capacity and I got to play them, if I can get insurance and opt out, I'm fucking opting out. I ain't going to Houston. Fuck that. It's not an even plan. It's a terribly thought out plan because it was never thought out. And it's so greedy sounding the more we talk about it.
Yep.
I bet you Jerry is one of the first people to say, hey, if people want to come into my stadium, let them. That's
Jerry
why I built it.
might put 100,000 in there. Jerry might still do that. He's a crumb. But I'm just saying, oh, man. See, you brought that point up, and immediately in my head, I'm like, oh, that's the most irresponsible thing to do.
Yep.
Uniform it, man. Let's get everybody out of there that doesn't need to be there. That's number one. That's the start of a bubble, at least. Essential personnel only. The fan, I'm sorry, guys, for at least one season is not essential. I mean, in the long run, of course the fans are essential. But if we are trying to get sports on the field or in an arena, just to have something to watch on television, to get a little bit of that passion back and have something to cheer for, stay the hell home. Tell your owner to keep it empty and just give the players the safest environment. That's it. I ain't going to Houston. If I'm on a fucking team that has to play them, I'm not going to Miami. Who wants to go to Miami? If Jeffrey Ross down there, whatever the hell his name is, whatever Ross, forget his first name. If he wants to go down there and he wants to have 25 or 30% capacity of his arena, who the hell wants to go to Miami-Dade area and play, dude?
Nobody. Maybe somebody that's on our.
I'm on New England. You think Bill ain't a high risk at his age? That's what I'm telling you right now. I'm opting out. If I got to go to Miami or I got to go to LA or any of these other cities that right now are spiking, fuck that. You're going to put a stipend in there. I can still get paid. Pay me. I'll sit home. And guess what? More players will probably do that. I might start a social media campaign to encourage them to sit the hell home and collect their paychecks. If that's how the owners are going to be and not put an even thing across the board. Fuck that.
Right.
That is so irresponsible.
But maybe somebody on our QB list wants to go to Miami right now. So we'll see. Let's check out this list that we have. Is Stidham on it? Somebody told me in the pre-show that he had to watch Stidham field.
Brodo's gonna
Go ahead.
narrate it or mediate as we say.
Ooh.
All right,
Okay.
Brodo, come on back in, buddy.
I'm here, Chrome. I'm here. So, Mr. Kevin, you say you're
Yes.
a Stidham guy, and you say you're not so much a Cam Newton guy. So, what we're gonna have you do, similar to what we were doing last week on Wednesday, and we've done it in the past, we've compared quarterbacks to quarterbacks, talking about which quarterback we'd want to go with, let's say, for the next 5 to 10 years, okay? And we'll go 5 years. We'll do the same criteria that we did last Wednesday. If you're restarting an
5 years.
organization, yes, for 5 years, all right? And what I'm going to do...
If anybody missed it, by the way, you can really go back and get the backstory of this list by
It's
watching last
so
week's
good.
episode of Birds of a Feather. It was one of the most unexpected and elongated conversations about a guy who probably combined in his career will never get this much airtime to be talked about in Stidham.
I re-listened to that segment last night. As I was jogging.
I watched it back
Oh my
last week. It was
God.
pretty great.
Oh my God, Kevin! The amount of flip flopping and inaccuracies in your argument was so ridiculous. It was entertaining.
That's
so
your
we had to
opinion.
come back. We had to
He
come
said
back.
that's your opinion.
So, Kevin, what I need you to do over in you see, you're not in the office or the library. You don't have one of those backdrops today. But over on your side of the screen, wherever the hell you are today, I can't tell. Just keep a tally of the quarterbacks that you would take. I almost said Vitali Stidham over. We're going to be.
I got to
doing,
plug in.
okay.
I will be listening. I have to plug in so my iPad doesn't die. I'll be right back.
Very good.
And then once we're done with Stidham, we're going to do the same thing for Mr. Cam Newton.
Okay.
And now,
And this is for the next
yes,
5
for
years.
for the next 5 years, okay?
What do you
And
Okay.
and Chuck's, myself, Mr. Chrome, Mr. Pete. For the close ones, we can give our own, but for the most part, we're going to be critiquing the judgment of Mr. Kevin Godwin, Patriots fan. So, are you ready, Mr. Kevin?
So, Brodo,
Yes, and now
you're keeping the tally. Like you're gonna be.
Kevin, are you, or do you want me to, Kevin?
I can do it.
Whoever
ahead,
wants
Chucks.
to, I don't
Yeah,
care.
Go ahead,
I'll do it.
Chucks. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, that's good. Are you ready, Mr. Kevin?
Yes, ma'am. I'm ready.
Oh,
I am a sir, not a madam, madam. And fam at home, feel free to chime in on your opinions on each quarterback. We're going to be going rapid fire here.
I'm gonna
this is gonna be good.
So
fall off my chair.
we are going to begin where we ended last week, and that is in the Patriots division. And we are going to go with, for the next 5 years, who are you taking? Stidham or Darnold?
Stidham.
Jesus Christ!
Oh my God,
We're already off to a bad start. We're already
this
off
is
to a
gonna be
bad
so
start.
fun.
This is gonna be so fun.
Josh Allen or Stidham?
Josh Allen.
Okay, you have a pulse. Very good.
So bad. Good.
Let's see. Tua Tagovailoa or Stidham?
Stidham.
Oh my Lord.
All right, 2 steps backwards. Okay. Fitzpatrick or Stidham?
Stidham.
Christ.
He didn't even finish it. Like he was just out of my Stidham.
Cam Newton or Stidham?
Cam.
Jesus. All right, next division. Ben Roethlisberger or Stidham? Remember, it's for 5 years now.
5 years, Stidham.
You're an idiot. You're a friggin' idiot.
Oh my God.
It took that one for you to realize that, Ryan?
Oh,
Wait, did I,
My
can you repeat that? Did I hear that right?
yeah, he took Stidham
Yeah.
over Ben Roethlisberger. Yes.
For the next 5 years.
Oh,
Yes.
I don't give a damn. It's
I don't
for the next
care.
5 months. I don't care.
Oh my
You guys can't see my reaction because I'm behind my iPad right now, getting it plugged in. But I almost actually threw the iPad in the pool.
That's right, Gavin. Bad start. Bad start.
Oh, God.
All right. Okay. This is going to be okay. I might go through a window if it doesn't go the right way here. Lamar Jackson or Stidham?
Oh no.
Yes, he plays.
This is
he
for the
plays
quarterback position, correct?
I knew you were going to say that. You son of a bitch.
Kevin, I'm about to go through a window,
Lamar.
Kevin. I'm about to go through a window.
Lamar.
Okay, very good.
I
Baker
feel like he
Mayfield.
just said that to appease us. But go ahead.
Yeah, I feel like he doesn't really mean that.
Yeah, I feel like that wasn't genuine, but we'll not.
No, I will be the first one to say I was never and have not been as high on Lamar as most.
Oh, we know.
But I have come around as far as appreciating his talent.
I think that's a flat out lie, but we'll continue.
You called it. Go ahead.
Let's see. Baker Mayfield or Stidham?
Stidham.
Jesus Christ, Tom.
Yeah,
Not a Baker guy.
Neither am I, but damn, that's all I'm saying. Damn.
Jesus Christ.
Can we get a Ron Simmons damn?
Yeah. Joe Burrow or Stidham?
Stidham.
Are you
I think that Joe
kidding
Burrow is
me?
going to be a bust.
My God.
I think Burrow is going to be a bust.
You're terrible. You're
big time
awful.
bust.
Bad.
You are awful.
You're an awful human
So
being.
bad.
I'm just saying. I think he's going to be a big bust.
Okay, this is going to be okay, this might be it's pretty bad that I don't even know which way you're going to go with this. Patrick Mahomes or Stidham?
Mahomes.
You took a little too long with that. I'm deducting 2 points. Let's see. Derek Carr or Stidham?
Stidham.
Of course he is.
Marcus Mariota or Stidham?
Stidham.
I agree with that one. Okay.
See, I'm still a Mariota guy. I'm going Mariota. Justin Herbert or Stidham?
Stidham.
Tyrod Taylor or Stidham?
Stidham. Get that junk out of here.
Okay, for context, anybody in here other than Kevin, would we take anybody, or would we take Stidham over any of those quarterbacks that I just named in that division?
No.
Maybe Herbert.
No.
Because I think Herbert's going to be a bust. That's just me.
I would take Herbert over. He's got better tools than Jarrett Stidham.
Yeah, I'm gonna
He
go.
does, but
I'm gonna go Stidham last in that one.
But I like who's trying to teach Stidham the position more than what Herbert has available at his disposal. So maybe not skills, but just coaching. So I don't know if that really.
No, I hear you. I understand that. Yeah.
All right, Gardner Minshew or Stidham?
The stash.
Although I love.
Oh, this is one you're thinking about. This is one that's tough.
No, I love the stash and the personality. It doesn't live up on the field for me. Stidham.
Oh my God, the fact that he had to even.
On the field, Stidham hasn't been.
I give him style points. I give him
very
style
concerned
points
right now.
Accounts.
Very, very concerned right now.
Deshaun Watson or Stidham?
Watson. Watson was the guy that I, if not had signed Cam this year, that I would want the Patriots to target next year when I believe he becomes a free agent.
Okay, that's very nice. Hopefully that never happens.
Good for you.
Let's see, Ryan Tannehill or Stidham?
Stidham.
Oh my God.
See, I think Tannehill stinks, but I'm still going with friggin' Tannehill.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ. This is unbelievable.
This is crazy.
Phillip Rivers or Stidham?
5 years, Stidham.
Are you keeping a tally over there, Chucks?
I am.
Okay. How many quarterback? Where are we at right now? Where are we at?
Well,
on so far, where are we at on the tally?
There are 13 quarterbacks that he would pick Jarrett Stidham over right now. 13.
Wow. I will give him.
There are only five so
will,
far. There are only 5 that he would take over Stidham.
I will empathize, not sympathize, because I totally disagree, but I will empathize with Phillip Rivers for the simple fact that it does seem like he is going to fall off of a cliff big time. So I will give you that one and not destroy you, but I got no other words for
so
pretty much the rest of your list.
There's only 5 quarterbacks in the entire AFC that he would rather have than Stidham. Just let that let that sink in, okay?
I'd
they're all
rather
the
have Sam
big ones,
Bradford
too.
right now than Stidham.
What was that, Pete?
I said that's a big five.
Yeah,
you got
that's
Mahomes.
yeah.
And one of those you chose Stidham over Big Ben. I mean,
Come on,
that's
God.
That's
Never
unbelievable.
been a fan.
Jesus Lord.
and Sam Bradford reference. The only thing I want from Sam Bradford outside of his bank account is his golf swing. Because the fucking bitch, he has a beautiful golf swing. That's
I'll take Bradham's one
You know-
cross-eyed eye over Stidham.
And I have to go. I
One
have
of
to go back. I have to go back to last week too, because Kevin brought up the point about when we were talking about he's like comparing Aaron Rodgers and Ben Roethlisberger, right? And I said, well, Ben won 2 titles. He's talking like Ben won 2 titles, but he was like a Hasselbeck or a fucking Trent Dilfer type of quarterback. Like Ben is a Hall of Fame quarterback, and I am not a Ben Roethlisberger fan.
You're not.
You guys know that.
I vouch for that.
But to try to downplay his career in such a way to say that it's a farce that the Steelers took a guy who was
I'm not saying
only
it is.
You did last week because he was
Here we go.
I said he's a 2-time Super Bowl champion. You said, well, Super Bowls don't do it, and other teams do. Oh, by the way, he has a Hall of Fame career. It wasn't like a 2-year fluke. It wasn't a Nick Foles comes in and steps in the season and gets the title because he stepped in and had a great 10 quarters. The guy has been a Hall of Famer, and you tried to downplay it. So that alone to me concerns me, but explains a lot about why we're seeing a lot of the list that we're seeing right here.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to get if we think it's bad so far, I think it's going to get real ugly in the NFC.
I'm really excited when we get to the NFC.
So let's start off hot, okay? And listen, you better watch yourself, Kevin, with this. You better tread lightly. Carson Wentz or Jarrett Stidham. You better
Wentz.
watch. I'm sorry, say it
Say
louder.
it loud.
Say it
Say it
louder,
louder.
please.
Carson, I only play 15 games Wentz.
You son of a bitch.
How about Jared? I've never seen a freaking NFL snap Stidham. You joker.
Called him a joker?
See, for this, I'm going to go one further. Jalen Hurts or Stidham? Because I'm taking Hurts.
I'm taking Hurts.
I'm taking Hurts too.
Taking Hurts.
I'm taking anybody.
The only thing that hurts is that
quarterback
second round
factory
pick.
right now.
Wait, what did you say, Kevin? What did you just say?
I said the only thing that hurts is that second round pick.
Yeah,
Wow.
tread lightly.
Anyway,
You want Jalen Hurts on your team?
going.
You might need him.
Go.
Let's see. Dak Prescott or Jarrett Stidham.
Dak.
Are you freaking kidding?
Took him that while.
That took a long time to
Took
answer
a
that,
long
Kevin.
time.
That's right, Bryce. That's right, Bryce. Watch your tone. Watch your tone. Let's see. For Yusuf, Dwayne Haskins or Stidham.
Stidham.
That's disrespectful. That's disrespectful. Daniel Jones or Stidham.
Stidham.
No.
This is a. So you would say that if Stidham was in our division, he'd be second.
No,
Third.
third.
He took Dak.
He took that.
Oh, he took Dak. Okay, very good. But still, he should be like
Took a
7.
while.
He should be
Took a
7.
while. Yeah.
Let's see. Ooh, Tom Brady or Stidham.
With the caveat
What?
of 5 years. With the caveat of 5 years, Stidham.
End the show.
Oh my
And also-
Lord!
Unbelievable.
Wow,
You got-
unbelievable.
It's
I
unbelievable.
kicked him out. He's done. He's out.
Oh God!
That's
Whoa.
That's right, you're on
You
the
said
bottom.
5 years. Do I want
Did
the
I
greatest
stutter?
quarterback of all time for a year or Stidham for
Yo,
5?
Pete. Who was the one that gave me crap for having Brady at 3 of most talented QBs?
You've been
since-
absolved.
He
You've been
gave me
absolved of that sin.
He gave me
You've been-
crap, and he wants to say that Jarrett Stidham over the next 5 years is better than Tom Brady right now. All of that
You said
stuff
for the next
all that
5
crap
years.
he gave me
it-
3 weeks
that's it.
ago. That's nonsense now. That's absolute nonsense. He
So
cannot-
maybe a half a year, Kev, he would be better than Brady. But for the first 4 of those 5 years, he's still going to be better than Stidham.
Brady's not going to play more than 2. So
Hey, Kevin.
Right.
I'll take Stidham for a guaranteed 5.
Hey, Kevin.
So
can
you're taking a guy simply because he could be on a roster, not talent-wise, because I'll take a fucking 49-year-old Tom Brady
Hell
over
yeah.
Stidham.
Kevin,
Like,
can I-
that's not a way to judge it, Kevin. It's the
This is
talent.
so bad.
Kevin,
So
can I
40,
put it
at 50
I
years old,
So bad.
I'll take Tom Brady.
If you go back and you watch what Stidham has done,
No.
graduated
Where?
from
What has he
Cam
done?
Newton's alma mater.
No. Well, no one's gonna watch what he's done because he's coming in garbage time. No one's got
Okay.
time to watch garbage.
Go ahead.
Finish the freaking.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Brodo, finish exercise.
Kevin, can I put it bluntly for a second? Can I just be very clear about something, okay?
Yes.
I would rather have Tom Brady for 2 years and for the remaining 3 years, Ralph Delavecchio with 2 broken friggin' legs than having Jarrett Stidham for 5. Do you hear me?
You're right. You're right. I'm with you.
I was adamant at the end of last season. If you guys remember, I was adamant at the end of last season that I'd rather move on now from Brady too early than wait too late. I'm not going to sit around with a quarterback that can't move and try to, hold him to the greatness that he was
Oh, now it's
versus what I could have.
Now it's a problem that he can't move. Now it's no more of but the fact that he's such a great pocket passer and can be this good in the pocket that shows people more of his talent. That was the argument before, but now it's like, I don't want a quarterback that can't move.
If you're saying that I have to try to see over the next 5 years, what is he going to be? I'd rather have a quarterback and train him up in a system than rest on the laurels of what was in a quarterback's name.
What was?
Okay.
What was?
So right.
Yes.
I want to see. I'll even pose this. I'll narrate this one.
All right.
Stidham with Drew Brees.
Stidham.
Oh God!
Okay. Because I was like, if you would have said Drew Brees, everything you said about the Brady argument would have went out the fucking window. Because he's even worse.
Oh Lord! All right, keep going, Brodo. Where are we at?
Well, actually, hold on now. I want everyone to answer that one. Drew Brees or Stidham for the next 5 years.
Drew Brees.
All right, very
Ryan, I'll take 1 year of Drew Brees and Ralph Delavecchio.
good. With 2 broken
Then
legs and a
5 years.
broken arm.
Yeah.
Cramping all the time, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Let's go with Teddy Bridgewater or Stidham.
Stidham.
Oh, Jesus God. Let me just tell you right now, the Patriots they're praying right now that Stidham is as good as Teddy Bridgewater. That's like his friggin' ceiling.
That's the ceiling.
This is really bad. Go ahead.
No, I think Stidham has the mobility of Bridgewater and a better arm. The accuracy may not be as great, but he can throw a deep ball better.
Honestly, man, I think his ceiling isn't even Bridgewater. It's Tyrod Taylor.
Or Kyle Allen.
Don't you say that.
They would love to
have
him be Tyrod Taylor at this point.
Oh,
Go ahead, Brodo, keep going.
let's see here. Jared Goff or Stidham?
Stidham. Sorry, I was reading a comment.
Wow.
Well, I mean, I know Goff is soft, but man,
I am not a Jared Goff fan. And I'm about to throw everything in my backyard right now.
So bad.
By the
You
way,
are unbelievable.
Yusuf asked earlier, Stidham or Lamar, Stidham or Mahomes. Luckily, because he said if he says either of them, he's having a heart attack. He picked Lamar and Mahomes. Thank you.
And Deshaun.
Yes.
So I can really quick name the quarterbacks he's picked over Stidham.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Cam Newton, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Carson Wentz, and Dak Prescott. So they're all pretty obvious names aside for Josh Allen. So I mean, I have a tough time giving him credit for that. But
are we done? Is the list
No,
done?
no, we're not done.
no.
we're not done. I'm just taking an update.
Russell
Let's
Wilson or Stidham.
We're close.
Then we got to get
the overall.
Yeah, because then we got to get to Cam next, which is going to get even messier. Russell Wilson. You're going Russell?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yes.
It took him a while.
Positive.
1,000%.
Kyler Murray or Stidham? You better watch yourself now. You better watch yourself.
Stidham.
Are you freaking
Don't
kidding
you
me?
talk about my son like that.
Stop it. Why?
Wow.
Why? Tell me why. And I guarantee you, if you lead off with how he's small, I'm gonna freaking ruin somebody. I'm gonna ruin somebody.
No, unlike your co-host on Wednesday nights, I don't believe that size plays a part into it. I don't trust his arm. I don't think that if he's held in a pocket to where he can lean on his arm solely, I think he's got to create. I think he needs to create space.
He's a baseball player.
I don't mean it. I don't mean as far as just the power.
So you don't trust his
More
mind. You
so
don't
the
trust his
accuracy
mind.
and in the reads. Correct. Paired. I don't think that he without his legs, to open up time to let plays develop, that he can just think shoot as far as with the accuracy and power goes. I think it's a moot point.
He's majority a pocket passer. Oh wait, how could you have known because you don't watch college football? That's right. You only watch Trevor Lawrence. You wouldn't have known that Kyler Murray has been mainly a pocket passer and only runs when he has to. But sorry, I forgot you don't watch college football.
I guess he had to run a lot last year because I saw a lot of them. So
well, and guess what? It worked. He was
maybe the 32nd best O line in the league, one of the worst in the whole
Kevin.
league. So I'm pretty sure if you were behind there, you'd be running for your life too. But go ahead.
And Kevin, how'd that work out for him? He was the offensive rookie of the year, pal.
Yes. Boom. Go next. This is ridiculous.
What are you shaking your head for, Kevin? Am I wrong? He's the offensive rookie of the year.
He was.
That's not an opinion.
Shouldn't have been, but he was.
Oh,
I'm giving you my opinion.
I forgot. N'Keal Harry should have been the offensive rookie of the year.
Yeah.
So this last one here.
This one's interesting.
Yes.
Jimmy G or Stidham?
Jimmy G.
Of friggin' course. Of course.
I can't.
Are those Brodo? Is that all the quarterbacks in the league?
No, we have one more division, and it's gonna get messy. Aaron Rodgers or Stidham.
Rodgers.
Son of a bitch.
Wow.
I didn't like how he looked. I didn't like how he looked to the side. I didn't like that. I didn't like how he looked.
There was a hesitation too.
Yeah.
Matt Stafford.
Stafford.
Oh my God.
Okay. Kirk Cousins.
No, Stidham.
Oh, you're gonna say no to that one? Okay. And I have two more for you.
Stafford over anyone on the
No,
Bears, Mitchie Poo or Foles.
No.
Or Stidham rather.
You're taking Stidham over Mitchell?
Yes.
And what about Nick Foles? Now listen now.
Still Stidham.
Of course he's going to fix Stidham.
Wow.
Because Nick Foles beat him.
Wow. All right,
Nick
so
Foles
what's the final
did not
tally?
beat us.
Really? Nick Foles didn't beat you? You might
No.
Really? What did our defense?
Yes.
Yeah, our defense really giving up like freaking 40 points.
We gave up 500 yards to Brady.
Sack fumble saved the game. Fumble saved the game.
Not all the touchdowns, the one play.
Hey guys, so
that's the one play that I give him.
Out of all those, that's 36. Those are 36 QBs in the league that consists of either young developmental quarterbacks that were drafted high or the starters. Out of 36, he has Jarrett Stidham ranked as the 12th best quarterback in the league.
Oh my God! He almost has him as a top 10. He almost has him as a top 10 quarterback in the league.
As a top 10.
What?
He is the 12th, according to Kevin, the 12th best quarterback in the league. Ladies and
For the
gentlemen.
next 5 years.
You need to send this tape to Jarrett Stidham and just join the fan club.
There's only one thing I could say to that, and that's this. There's only. It's just pure friggin' madness.
Oh my God!
All right, now let's see where he's got Cam. So let's just go back to the top now. For the next 5 years, Cam Newton or Tua Tagovailoa.
Cam.
Oh, Jesus. Fitzpatrick.
Cam.
Darnold.
Cam.
Allen.
Allen.
Hold on. One
Okay.
second. Hold
Okay,
on.
I'm sorry, Chuck. I'm going too fast.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I just have to.
Let me know when you're ready.
Okay, go ahead.
Mahomes.
Mahomes.
Derek Carr.
Cam.
Marcus Mariota.
Cam.
Herbert.
Cam.
Tyrod Taylor.
Cam.
Oh, we didn't do Drew Lock. Drew Lock or Stidham. I'm sorry.
Stidham.
Oh,
See how we just brushed that off? Stidham. Cam Newton or Drew Lock.
Cam.
Big Ben or Cam.
Cam.
Christ.
Okay.
Baker
Jesus.
or Cam.
Cam. Baker wants to be Cam, but can't.
Oh, stop it.
Oh,
What?
enough. What does that even mean? Joe Burrow or Cam.
Cam.
Lamar or Cam. What?
Lamar.
Okay,
So you got
Brodo, to save you time, actually do this.
okay.
The 11 quarterbacks that he has, because we already know he ranks Newton ahead of Stidham. We know that based on last week. Is it the same,
Okay.
or are you flip-flopping? I got to
That's
check.
the same.
It's the same. Okay, all right, cool. So the 11 quarterbacks that were taken ahead of Stidham, you let us know which one you are taking over Cam. All right, or if you're taking Cam over them. Ready? Josh Allen, you already said. Lamar Jackson, you already said. Mahomes, you already said. Deshaun Watson or Cam?
Watson.
I should not have taken that.
Why is he? Why? What are you thinking about over there? Like what?
Right.
What's the?
Thinking
Carson.
about chocolate milk.
Carson Wentz or Cam?
Say it again. I couldn't hear you.
Carson Wentz or Cam?
Wentz.
Whoa.
Took you
Whoa.
way too long. Dak or Wentz?
Or no, Dak or Cam.
Cam. Cam.
Huh? Dak or Cam? Sorry. Cam over Dak.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Wow.
Jesus. I don't know.
Okay. Russell Wilson or Cam?
Wilson.
Jimmy G or Cam?
Jimmy G.
So, I'm not surprised. Aaron Rodgers or Cam?
Rodgers.
What?
Took a long time. Matt Stafford or Cam?
Cam.
Oh my God, he's gonna have Cam as the top 7 quarterback.
So for Cam then, he has Cam as hold on.
But again, he says he
Ninth.
doesn't like Cam Newton.
Ninth Cam.
Right, I was about to
So
say
he
that.
has him as the 9th best quarterback. But as you said, Brodo, I guarantee you, before he signed with the Patriots, Cam Newton would not be ranked this high on his ranking. I guarantee you.
He said 3 straight weeks he didn't want him. He said he does not want him. So you don't want a top 10 quarterback?
I said that I would not personally pick him to run my offense. Do I want a talent like that?
You wouldn't personally pick a top 10 quarterback to run your offense.
If I'm Kraft and I'm building an offense, for me, I think that Stidham has a bigger arm than Cam. I think Cam's legs are better. To me, I would rather develop the guy with the arm.
Bigger arm? What are you watching? What are you watching?
Go back and watch his tape at Auburn.
Stidham.
Did you just tell Chuck to watch tape? Did you really just watch tape?
Yes, I did.
What are you talking about?
Apparently he's not watching the right tape.
Why would you watch tape that doesn't exist?
What right tape? I'll give you a link. If you don't trust my word, I'll give you the link to 3 scouts who just scouted him in the draft. And they all said one of his weaknesses is he doesn't have arm strength. What are you talking about?
I watched a hour and 20-minute long video
If you
over his career.
Oh, man.
Adjust
Wow.
your eyes because your eyes are telling you something else. That's seriously.
Kevin.
That makes me question what you're watching right there. If you
It took you now to question what he's watching.
Kevin.
Pass after
Kevin.
pass after pass between
Kevin.
35 and 50 yards on the money.
Oh
Kevin.
my
Yeah, go
God,
ahead.
it's so false. That is
Kevin.
so inaccurate. I know you're making that up because
What's your opinion?
I watched him too, and that's
Kevin.
not true. I don't
Okay,
know.
that your opinion's wrong, but it's yours.
Kevin. That's an hour.
Chrome
and
has a
20
question.
minutes.
Yes.
It's an hour. No, it's not a question. It's a statement. That is an hour and 20 minutes of your life that you're never going to get back. And I am so
I actually thoroughly enjoyed
sorry for you that you lost that time, Kevin.
Kevin,
Listen,
Wow.
it's not my fault that you guys can't enjoy a nice glass of milk, watch some film
This
on
bitch.
Stidham, and enjoy it. I'm
All right.
sorry that's
But-
not in your
hold
life.
on.
Kevin,
Why did you watch
so-
the film? Why did you watch the film, Kevin? Because you
Oh,
couldn't
yeah.
remember. No, there was no redeeming qualities from Stidham's
Yep.
game that stood out.
I-
You had to go.
I went
revisit
back.
it.
So
The
I
12th
went
best
back and I
quarterback in the
actually
league that you just picked.
I went back and I watched a lot of tape because, for not having watched anything over the past 5 months, I haven't, remembered everybody's mechanics. So I went back and compared them to quarterbacks that we had just mentioned on the on that ranking.
question:
So it wasn't just him that I looked at.
when you saw him throw these passes, were they complete or incomplete? A
Complete.
lot of complete. Yeah, bullshit.
Well, those.
Let me read off something for you, okay? So I looked this back. Ben Solak of the Draft Network back in this past May, so it wasn't last year, this past May, did contextualized quarterbacking portfolio on all the quarterbacks in the draft class, which he does every year, and is very detailed with advanced metrics and everything. And he also watches film, so I trust him. He says, in terms of Stidham, in 3 paragraphs, I struggle to get excited about Stidham, who was objectively inaccurate in a scheme built on easy throws. While he has good distance to his arm, Stidham struggles to place the ball deep with any consistency, so his strength still exists in the hypothetical. Again, when he adds extra mustard on his tight window throws, Stidham loses the ability to place the football and accordingly puts the ball at risk. Stidham brings some good mobility to the position, though he struggles with pocket feel, and he has the arm talent worthy of drafting and developing as a day 3 option. So expecting anything more out of Stidham than a potential backup role is to have admirably lofty expectations. In the 2019 class, and I want you to listen to this because these are stats, Stidham was graded as my least accurate thrower beyond the line of scrimmage, with especially harrowing numbers as a deep ball passer, which is 0.513% accuracy with a 0.372 placement. He had the greatest target share of passing attempts behind the line of scrimmage, the worst accuracy numbers under pressure, and the highest percentage of his offensive output come from yards after the catch. Auburn asked him to throw screens, and he did. Whenever he held the ball longer, bad things tended to happen. So let me compare.
I see your point.
Your 1 hour and a half of watching to all of that. Let's compare.
Okay.
Who do we trust more?
You know who I trust?
Which one's more accurate?
Hold on.
He's going to
I'm
I
going
You
to
know who I
trust
trust?
Ben Solak. I'm going to trust Ben Solak. Oh, you're going
Right here.
You're going to
That's who I trust.
backdrop. Wow, that's a real convincing argument, Kevin.
Yep.
You can really convince
What-
people with that argument. I'm showing my team, the insignia of my team. That's who I trust. Yeah.
I want to read something for.
Oh, he's frozen.
He's frozen.
Frozen.
Pull something up, bud. Don't
How,
worry.
how convenient.
Yeah,
He's
something.
How
frozen.
convenient.
His beard looks pretty nice, though. Well groomed.
Kevin.
Thank you.
You're
Kevin.
welcome.
Kevin.
I
Kevin's
feel
not
like
there.
that's Chuck's and Kev's
Yes.
weekly teaching moment segment.
This is amazing, by the way.
I find it very strange that Kevin, all of a sudden, the screen's not working.
Oh, here. While we're waiting for him, his internet connection to catch up to
Is
his
it still frozen?
ridiculousness. Let's go. Let's see. While we're waiting, Kyle Krabs of the Draft Network.
I want to.
In terms of arm strength, he has some
Hello?
ability to drive into tight
We
windows.
can hear you, Kev. I hear you.
On the ball and see with more See it float more
Sir?
than.
Sir?
Are you back yet? Are you back?
He said hello.
Sir,
Are the connection okay? I'm just wondering.
it's
Are you okay? Are you
been
still frozen? I can't hear you,
okay.
Kev. I can't hear you.
I want to read something to you.
Read
Can I
what?
read something to you?
The Patriots? We already
Hold on.
read the Patriots backdrop. We already read.
Chucks, let's let it.
Go ahead.
I'm actually very interested to see what he's gonna have us read.
Yeah. I'm interested. Go.
So I'm going to read this here. Okay. Poor build,
Kevin said
skinny,
hello.
lacks great physical stature and strengths, lacks mobility and agility to avoid the rush, lacks a really strong arm, can't drive the ball down the field, does not throw a really tight spiral.
I know what this is.
System type player who can get exposed and forced to ad lib, gets knocked down easily.
It's Tom
You know what that
Brady.
is, bud?
It's
Tom
Tom
Brady.
Brady.
That is Tom Brady's draft.
Here
Here
we
we
go.
go.
The next Tom Brady.
Here we go.
So you
Oh,
take
my
Jarrett
Point
Stidham.
last week that you live every argument off of one person who ever defied it. Go back,
Okay,
and we talked about it last week. You have nothing else
I'll insert
to go
somebody
back
else.
to prove your point.
I'll insert somebody else. Kurt Warner.
Great. You picked 2 people out of all the ones who are drafted late or undrafted. 2 people. How about all the other quarterbacks that are drafted late? You're playing the percentages and you're losing really bad, Kev. You're losing really, really bad. For you to pick all but 2 quarterbacks who were drafted late. Keep trying, though. Keep trying.
Here's a list of Brett Favre, Kurt Warner, Brad Johnson, Drew Brees. These are quarterbacks
Brad Johnson.
not drafted in the first round that won a Super Bowl. Russell Wilson, 3rd round. There's I believe there is.
But Kevin, you said last week Super Bowls don't make greatness, Kevin.
Yeah.
Remember,
I'm not.
Don't forget, Kevin, it's a team sport.
Yes.
It's more than just one player,
Right.
Kevin.
Yes.
Right,
Yeah.
I understand that, and I'm not saying that the Super Bowls mean anything, but I'm talking about less of the Super Bowl. I'm talking about less of the Super Bowl, but where
Here you go.
the
Here you go.
guys that I just
He
named
hit the jammer button again.
that won a Super Bowl.
Oh, my Lord.
Kevin, your computer's screaming at you right now.
Is your
Yeah,
computer hot?
I know.
Is
Is
it
there
overheating?
is there an abort button on there? Is that what's happening right
Yes.
now?
So
I
As
think
I
it's
just
like trying to
mentioned.
save him.
Are you like texting your family saying, "Hey, somebody hit the reset button on the router real quick"? Oh,
Hey,
I
sorry,
can't do
guys.
that
Hey, so-
much.
Dropped
No, Crow.
dropped my service.
Chrome, no. He's texting him saying, "Hey, somebody call my phone so I can say I have a phone call." Somebody just tackle me. Come in here. Somebody just tackle me off the screen.
So
Where are my interns?
my point
Where
was
are my interns?
my
gotta get
point
you
was
new
the
interns,
quarterbacks
buddy.
that I had named were all quarterbacks that were not drafted in the first round and have all had poorer grades than the quarterbacks that obviously were drafted higher than them in the first round that you would expect and want to pick.
You named like 5 guys ever. You named like 5 guys ever.
I can keep going.
No. You're hurting yourself. I'm trying to help you.
I can
We
keep
love
going.
you. We love you. We're trying to help you. You're hurting yourself.
He's digging.
I don't think so.
You're hurting
And
yourself.
Stop hitting yourself, Kev. Stop hitting yourself.
This isn't good, Kevin. You're better than
This is bad. I don't know. I've tried, guys. I tried. I mean,
I gotta
Here to
look
help
something
you.
up real quick.
We're here to help you, Kevin.
Kev, I don't know. Is it just something where you just test the wind and you see which way the opinion is going to take you at that moment in time? Is that what it is? I'm trying to get it beat. I feel like you treat these discussions as you're playing poker and you never want to show your hand, but you come in with a different strategy just to throw people off guard every time.
every time.
Well, I can't do that because I suck at poker. So
Yusuf
this
has
is nothing
you,
like
you,
that.
You suck at this too, but I'm just saying.
Well, that's your opinion.
No, it's
Unfortunately, your opinion's wrong, but that's okay. It's yours.
Oh my gosh.
Yusuf
To
has-
answer,
Oh my god.
Go ahead,
Yusuf?
answer Yusuf. So let's do this before you go, Kev. Before you go, fam, we're gonna do about 90 seconds of you just ask Kev questions. Nobody talk and let Kev
Awesome.
just answer. Kev will answer all your questions.
So
Kevin.
as far as this question goes, I think that as far as Kyler and Haskins, and I don't know who Danny is.
Oh,
Jones.
jeez.
Oh,
Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones.
okay. So as far as those three, I like Stidham's deep ball better. I think that the accuracy I have seen, I did see a little bit of what Chuck's mentioned, where it's not tight and in the breadbasket as much as I would like it to be. It is where receivers are going outside their bodies to catch it. But I believe within Bill Belichick and that offensive scheme that can be taught. Something that Brady was said not to have and was taught. So if anyone's going to get it done, it's him. And I like Stidham's legs. I have seen him, take deep dropbacks and control pocket and step back in it. I've seen him extend plays, run for first downs. He's not afraid to get hit. I've seen him dive forward for balls and fall forward, which you can't really teach. To be aggressive and protect the ball the right way, or it takes a lot to teach. Ask Robert the Griffin, who's now third string out someplace, another running back on the roster.
Kevin has a question for you.
How do you have two Patriots in the top 15? Well, that's because when they wake up, they just.
Next question.
Jesus.
Well,
Kevin, what is Kevin?
That's because you go out and you sign a former MVP in Cam Newton, and although I don't,
he's the former MVP. Oh hell,
This guy is amazing.
That's a fact.
No,
That's a fact, isn't it?
No.
Is that not a fact?
It was not a fact. You use it as an argument to make a point.
No, I'm gonna keep saying no. I'm just gonna keep saying no forever because last week, do I need to pull up the tape? When you didn't call him former MVP, you didn't call him Cam Newton. You called him a freaking hairdresser. You called him a freaking fashion
Kevin, I just listened to it again last night.
coordinator.
You literally were saying that you can't use that because it happened 5 years ago. You cannot say he's a former MVP because it happened 5 years ago. Therefore, it doesn't matter. You said that. You said that.
I said. Can I finish my point, guys? Excuse me.
I really, at this point, I don't think you should. I don't think you should finish your point.
So when you go out and you have the potential to sign a former MVP and bring him into a coaching system that is arguably the greatest head coach of all time, and teach on to him what he has lost in self-confidence because of injury, I believe that he can get back to that. And exactly as I said last week, it is a what have you done for me lately league. But I believe that he was in a poor situation to be able to showcase his former talents within Carolina, which I believe that Belichick can get back out of him.
What? He was in a poor. He had the greatest weapon in football in Christian McCaffrey, literally 2 feet from him. What?
How does that help his quarterback play by going like this?
Are you
or throwing it 5 yards?
Christian McCaffrey play football?
I have.
So
if I'm looking at a quarterback's perspective, and if I'm gonna say I just threw the ball 5 yards and I know how McCaffrey plays, and he's gonna get the next 20 on that on his own after the contact, or breaking on anything outside run wise, that's on him. That to me, that doesn't reflect on my quarterback. If I'm throwing 20 yards and he's catching the ball, sure, but that's not what McCaffrey does often.
Kevin, so are you telling me that if in a fantasy world that hopefully never happens, if Christian McCaffrey was on the same team as Jarrett Stidham, you're not going to tell me you're not going to be coming in every week saying, oh my God, we're great because we have Stidham and Christian McCaffrey?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying
you just said it.
No.
Amazing.
No. Now you're going and twisting things. I'm saying that you're not. I'm saying that I'm not putting anything that happened in separately, any stats that's attributed to McCaffrey on Newton. Not saying I wouldn't want them on the same team.
So
I'm saying that I can't reflect his stats onto
Go
Newton.
ahead, Chrome. Go ahead.
I wanted to look up how many quarterbacks in the history of the NFL draft were drafted. There has been 1,091 quarterbacks drafted in the NFL draft. And Kevin brings up 2 names. Ever of 1,191 quarterbacks. I'm sorry, 1,091 quarterbacks.
I could have brought
ever
up more,
drafted in the
but I was
NFL
told
draft.
not to.
Oh,
But-
yeah, you can put more. Wow. How many, 10?
Hold on. Please hold. More math. So 1,091, right? Let's see. Hold on. You've pulled up, let's say, roughly 6.
Let's say 10. No, let's give him double digits. Let's say 10.
So Kevin has. All right, let's give him 10.
Let's give him 12 for Tom Brady.
Yeah, let's give
Maybe
him 12.
12.
Let's say 12.
The list had 15.
That's
The
not
list-
helping your case.
Let's add 15, bro.
So
Helping your case.
Kevin is basing his argument off of the history of the NFL draft. 0.01099908% of the wrong
Yeah.
decisions in the NFL draft.
Ick.
That's 1%. That's 1%.
No,
No.
no, it's not. It's point 0.
0.01.
Oh, I didn't know you could.
Zero. Literally 0.01%.
You can't even
0.01%.
do the carryover.
Did you guys know that interest rates on savings accounts are higher than that?
I gave you 15. Kevin, I gave you 15 quarterbacks, and it's 0.013%.
Any more questions?
That is what you base the argument off of.
Yeah, one
Prism,
more
Prism,
question.
Prism
That
had,
is correct.
0.013% of the entire history of the NFL.
That's what
Oh
he's
yeah,
basing it off of.
Prism has a question.
To be honest, I'm not sure that I don't have it. So
Oh, you're asymptomatic. You're asymptomatic.
that is
Prism
correct.
had this question, and then he also had a request. He had a
Yeah.
shout out that a phrase that he wanted you to say.
This
Oh,
is,
yeah.
go ahead, Brodo.
Here, I'll get a close up for you.
Yes, I can, but unfortunately, no. This is only milk. This is only milk here.
What the hell do you have around the cup? Is that rubber bands?
I've been thinking of that all
No,
night.
it's a grip.
What are you trying to? Why, in case it slides? Like, where are you going? You're not on a boat.
It's how the cup comes. Sue me for buying.
See,
I
I
didn't
would
even
throw
buy it.
out that cup. That's a bad cup. Horrible
It's the
cup.
biggest cup we have. It's either this or tiny little glass ones.
What? I can't. I'm done.
More
I
questions.
I need to publish this ranking somewhere. This is gold. I
I need a
can't.
friggin' shower. That's what I need.
Just when I
is the-
thought Ralphie was bad. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, this may take you.
Listen,
you
don't
and
play.
Ra-
Don't hate the player. Hate the game. That's all I gotta
Well, okay,
say.
that's it.
It looks like you
Nah.
hate both. You hate both, man.
Nah, I'm out.
Player
I'm going. I'm going.
I think that we can hold off on Pat Mahomes' contract until next week. After that, I don't think there's any way to come back and recover from that
Yeah.
little spectacle. Kevin, man, 2 weeks in a row, you gave us a spectacle, brother. Proud of you, man.
This is the
Proud of
standard
you.
Welcome.
now, Kev. This is the standard.
Hey, only place you can find it, A2D Radio. Check us out all over
Kevin-
anywhere you can download us.
2 weeks in a row, we got the Kevin. 2 weeks in a row, we got the Kevin Godwin hour. Amazing, amazing.
Great. That's
If
great.
it doesn't work out, how would you feel? All right, that's a good question,
Hey.
Kevin. We'll end on that question.
You win some, you lose some. Unfortunately, I feel like I will win this one. So,
You're gonna defy
that's the way it goes.
You're gonna defy and you're gonna bet on the odds of the 0.013% in the history of the NFL draft.
That is correct.
Oh my God.
Yusef, he's going
All right,
to cry in the
guys.
shower with his jersey
That's
on.
great.
That's what he's going to do.
Don, Yusef,
I might.
Prism, all of our guys who chimed in here, we appreciate you guys. Gavin, thank you so much, brother. This was fun. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you.
This is special. This is special.
I was entertained.
That was very special. Shout out to our sponsors, our doctor, Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, and you can find him at Burlington, Cherry Hill, Princeton, New Jersey. Find him at specializedphysicaltherapy.com. Don't forget, guys, hit up Michael Ambrose at Ambox Services. The phone number is in the chat, but you can also check him out on the web. It's ambuckservices.com. Let them know A2D sent you. Tom here at A2D sent you, and guess what? You get 20% off. Get your house in order. All your outside work done, gutter guards, gutter cleaning, tree trimming, deck installation, restoration. Philly Drinkers, shout out to Alex, too. We love you, Alex. Thank you for the work. Get that A2D merch. Lots of good stuff on there. You got shirts, show shirts, Philadelphia sports designed or inspired A2D gear, tumbler, shorts, the most comfortable. Did anybody get the shorts yet?
I ordered mine. I just placed a big order Sunday.
I could live in those shorts. I'm not even exaggerating. They're the most comfortable things I've ever put on. You can get the shorts, the tumbler, the stickers, anything you guys want. Get your Birds of a Feather shirt. Maybe we might have to come up with like some kind of a Kevyn design shirt here. I don't know. This is insane. But check out all that stuff. Get your Quarterback Factory shirt. Promo code A2D is going to get you 25% off on that shirt. Not your whole order, guys, so don't mistake that. Get you 25% off your shirt. Check out phillydrinkers.com. And obviously QB54, best tailgating game out there. Play QB54.com. Promo code no notes is going to get you 20% off there as well. Next week, depending on the news that we get this week, guys, because we had the news cycle pick up over the last couple of weeks. Yep. If not, we're gonna continue our positional rankings from 2000, or I'm sorry, our top 10 lists, and we will eventually bring you guys the wide receiver position. So, with that, thank you again. We appreciate you guys. Have a safe week. Stay home, and if you do go out, just be smart about it. Take care of each other. Hold each other accountable. We're gonna hold Kevyn accountable for his Stidham shit on this show. And we love you guys. So, it's never going to end. So for myself, for Pete Evans, for Kevyn Godwin, for Chucks, for Ryan Brodo on the ones and twos, for everybody here at A2D Radio, thank you guys. Make sure you check out the Fix and the PM tomorrow, the combined show. Those guys are awesome. And get Ralphie's reactions to Jason Peters coming back. And by the way, too, great interview with Trey Thomas, former Philadelphia Eagle. Chucks was a part of that. So go back. You can check it out on the A2D archives. And don't forget, guys, you can always check us out live, or you can check out the video archive on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. You want to check out other things. You want to check out our podcast forums, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or iTunes, whatever you call it, Google Play, Spreaker, Spotify, SoundCloud. Check out all of our posts, our content. We're a sports media company. Follow us on Instagram as well. We're all over the place. Give us a follow. Give us a share. Get your friends. Invite your friends to follow us. Tell them how great this show is and how you guys have the voice. We love you guys. Have a safe week and take it easy.
Peace.
Later.